My name's Frederic, and you can call me Fred if you'd like. And I am working here at the State Department in the Africa Bureau in the Economic Policy Office. It's a position called the Franklin Fellowship. I'm a Franklin Fellow. So this is actually an unpaid position. My regular job, my day job, is as a university professor at Purdue University in Indiana. It's a big kind of science and engineering and agriculture university over there in the Midwest. So the Franklin Fellow Program tries to draw people from all walks of life and all types of professions. And so occasionally they try to find scientists who are willing to work in the State Department to advise on science diplomacy policy. I'm a mathematician and a statistician. I think the one thing to realize about statisticians and mathematicians is that these are the core disciplines of science. You can't really do any science in this day and age without looking at numbers. We're interested in anything that might have to do with science in general or technology or even agriculture, which is important for my bureau, the Africa Bureau. And so that's the reason why I think I was able to contribute to the Bureau, because what they decided to do with me was to put me as their generic science advisor. We say that we have a portfolio, which means that we have a number of issues to work on. And so the main thing that they wanted me to work on is climate change. And that was one thing that I said I had an interest in before coming here. The other thing I said I had an interest in was African development, so obviously I've been doing a lot of that in the Africa Bureau. Climate change has been the main point. One of the reasons it's been important for my bureau this year is because every year the United Nations has a conference that's called the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Conference of the Parties. And this year, for the first time since 1992, I think it was when they got started, is going to be in sub-Saharan Africa in South Africa. And so it's a big opportunity for Africa to get their voices heard about what they think climate change is doing to them. And so I was working a lot with an office in the Bureau of Oceans, Environment and Scientific Affairs, which we call OES. That's the Office of Global Change, which deals with climate change. And then, since I was a generic science fellow, I looked at a number of other issues. The second, probably most important in terms of importance for the Bureau itself is energy, and that's of course related to climate, because if you're trying to develop your energy sector in any country, you have to think about how much oil you're going to use, how much coal you're going to use to produce electricity, how much of it is going to come from renewable sources like hydropower or other renewable sources like the sun or the wind. And so these are questions that I think I've helped my bureau understand a little better. So climate change and water are intimately tied together in Africa. So there are not a lot of places on this planet where we can say for a fact climate change is going to have this effect in this region. And so what I'm going to bring back is the ability to now really understand what issues, for instance, environmental statistics should be looking at. Now, it's a kind of a new branch of statistics, because statistics has always been able to work on any topic. But to say that we have to work on environmental statistics means that we, as a profession, as statisticians, we understand that environment is an important question, that there are questions like climate change which require statisticians to think about, carefully, other issues like that. So once you realize that, number one, these opportunities exist which really expand your horizons as a scientist, and there's no question in my mind that all scientists should try to do something like this, because it really changes their outlook on their own field. Hopefully you're in a place that's big enough like Purdue that you can actually talk to your administration, frankly, to explain the benefits of doing this for the university and for the country. I have to show the people who I'm working for, which is in my case the Indiana State Legislature, and even the people in Washington, that Purdue is engaged in the outside community. And so this is a huge service that you're going to do to the president of your university. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the Franklin Fellow Program is an awesome program, the way that I've experienced it. And it's not possible for all academics to be able to take advantage of it, because there'll be situations, depending on which university you work in, where it's just not possible to let somebody go for a year and cover their teaching and cover their salary, etc. If you can take a sabbatical leave, that makes it easier.